Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I help individuals like you with the tools and strategies that empower them to be more resilient and productive. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another video content when it drops. My name is Arezi and today I want to share with you something I discovered that every one of us goes through at some point in our lives, and that is setbacks. Let's talk about how to deal with setbacks. You know, a few years ago, sometime precisely in 2018 February, I started a new job at a financial servicing company. I was very excited for this new job because it was so different from my previous job. I was offered the role of a support analyst. It was kind of a fancy job title and I loved it. My job was to process payment files, by our clients, which were banks, law firms, and other financial institutions that had clients dealing with bankruptcy and insolvency. So it was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting job, but it was also one that I had never done before. So when I got in, I didn't know that I was on a timer. They wanted to see how fast I would adapt and learn the details of the job. There were days when we would get a request from, a client or jobs on the calendar waiting for us to execute. And so I get in there in the morning, I'll jump right in. But being the kind of person I am, I took my time on every task because it was very sensitive. It was a very sensitive environment and we were dealing with confidential information. And so I didn't want to make a mistake or send the wrong thing or send, files to the wrong person. Make a mistake basically that will cost me my job or the company a lot of money. So there were days when I wasn't sure of what my next steps were, just like every new job. And I asked my colleagues questions, especially the younger lady on the team, because it was her job role I was taking on and she was moving to a bigger responsibility. And she would tell me, to look at the binder for instructions. And she actually says that in that very condescending, young man, you're bothering me tone. Now, these were not questions that I could have answered by reading something on the instruction binder. In fact, I noticed a lot of the gap and the inadequacy of the binder while reading it. These were questions that were unique to the client or task. And I thought since she was more experienced at the job, she would be kind enough to offer some help. But no, she didn't. But I guess she wasn't paid to train anybody, so I didn't take offense. So at other times when I just take the plunge and make a mistake, their reaction was so bad, you would think you killed someone. Anyways, long story short, pretty soon it became obvious that it wasn't going to take me time to live up. It was actually going to take me time to live up to the expectations and deliver on the job. So I was forced to learn fast. Now, when I started the job, they put me on a team of 2 older white ladies and they were really close to their retirement, and one younger lady in her 30s, I think. That's the one that refused to help. I'm saying all that just to give my story some context. Now, these women made my job unbearable. They gave me very bad reviews. They were never satisfied with how I worked and everything I did. In fact, there were several days when they would start talking amongst themselves and act like I was not there. They would gossip with each other. They would leave me out of the conversation. I mean, it got really toxic. I knew these ladies didn't want me there for any reason, for whatever reason it was. After a meeting one day with my immediate boss, I realized that 2 of these ladies had been giving me bad reviews and they thought I came off as one who didn't want to read the binder for instructions and that I came off as rude. It was really shocking to me because I had never gotten any review like that, even in my previous job. So I think I took it with a pinch of salt. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it's all happening this way because there's something I need to learn. Let's say all that they're saying is true. I'm going to go back to our little cubicle and have a talk with them to resolve this. And so I did. I called the attention of all 3 of them and I said, I'd like to have a word with you all. I stated the fact that I got the review from the boss and it was not good, and that it was because they thought I wasn't ready to work and that I was adamant about using the binder. You could see how the younger lady turned red, as in it was So obvious, she felt really embarrassed. Because of course, nobody likes confrontation. So I quickly turned it around, reassured them that I was there to do a good job and that I wanted all of us to win as a team, and that if there was any time they thought I was doing what I wasn't supposed to do, they should call me out. Now, that 5 minutes meeting with them that day kind of set some things straight for a few weeks. And then they were back to their initial hostile attitude again towards me. Now, I spent the 3 months probation period trying so hard to prove my worth at that job. But I still went home every day with the feeling of inadequacy. I woke up in the morning with my heart palpitating because my anxiety levels were off the roof. So the Monday after Easter that year, I walked into the office and my boss was at the door, kind of waiting for me. I don't know, it was really odd. And she asked me to come with her, and we both walked into the boardroom where we usually had meetings. And I saw the lady in charge of HR, and both of them gave me the news that they will no longer be needing my services, and it was without cause. Listen, prior to that time, I didn't know what it felt like to be fired from a job. But on this day, I felt the chills run down my entire body. This was a very difficult time for me because my mind kept on coming up with questions about what I didn't do right or the mistakes I made. I felt so bad. Was it sadness? I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I was inadequate. I was angry with the ladies and I blamed them for giving me bad reviews. I was angry with myself for leaving my previous job. I was thinking, how am I going to take care of my family? It was the hardest moment in my life because I had responsibilities that I didn't know how I was going to cater to. This was a major setback for me. And if you're going through something similar, here is something for you. It's not strange. The moment you decide to pursue your dreams or do anything meaningful that will enhance anyone's life, there's always going to be the probability that you will experience a setback at some point. If you're up to anything big in this world, it is important to prepare for the days when things don't go as planned. On your way to success, it is important to build in resilience, the ability to bounce back from failure, because failure is not final. Now, whether you lost a job, you failed an exam, or you lost all your money in a bad investment, or you're probably the victim of another person's bad decisions, I want you to know that you can recover from setbacks. I want to share some ideas with you on how you can see setback, and maybe a better way to deal. The first idea is refrain from drawing conclusions. This is the part where I would have loved to say there's always an opportunity for growth in this, and that you should look out for the growth opportunity. And now, while that's true, not everyone processes pain like that. People don't just move from pain and setback to taking action again very quickly. Now, when I lost my job, it took me a while. I had to feel what I felt. It took me a while to regroup. I felt like a failure. I felt like I had disappointed myself and my family. It was a mix of several different negative emotions. And I just want you to know that it's okay to feel what you feel. Now, during this time, it was difficult to pay my bills. Not just that I lost my job, now I couldn't pay for my car. My car almost got repossessed in that period. In fact, it was the morning the bailiff was at my door ready to pick up the car. That was when I got the money to pay what I owed. Listen, I've seen some really bad days in my life, but I survived. I just want you to know that when things go wrong in our lives, the only thing we can control is how we conceptualize and how we choose to respond to that experience. Drawing conclusions to something that can change is not the right way to approach a setback in your life. Also, I want you to realize that setbacks come to test your resolve. How bad do you really want that business to work? How bad do you want to pass that exam? How bad do you want that relationship to work? Until you get to the place in your mind where it's either you succeed or you just succeed, when setbacks come, you'll easily take a bow. You might have failed several times at something, but that when eventually you succeed, the success more than compensates for all your past failures. Because after that, nobody really asks the question about how you failed. It's now about how you succeeded. Now, the second idea is accept reality. Accept your reality. Now, the way to do that is, even if the outcome feels unfair, many people get caught up in whether an outcome is fair or just, if you've been treated fairly, this should have happened to me, that shouldn't have happened to me. In the words of Les Brown, can you give us a list of people you think it should have happened to? You see, until you accept what has happened, you'll be stuck in a state of denial where your emotions rule. You must accept what has happened before you can get your brain engaged again in trying to figure out what's next, and the conversation about what growth opportunities exist in the situation can begin. The third idea is accept that failure is a part of the process to succeed. When you know that on the way to success, you will meet failure on the way, you don't stop on the way, especially when you already know that success lies ahead. I like the analogy that a mentor used one time. He said, whenever scientists are in the process of creating a solution, they don't just arrive there. They do a series of experiments that fail, but they keep going because each experiment reveals to them the fact that something did not work. So they make the adjustments and they try again. So they kind of go into the labs knowing that some experiments are going to fail, and when it does, they don't quit. They just try again with the new knowledge of what doesn't work. So my recommendation is begin to view failure differently. See it as a process, not as an end in itself. Now, the fourth idea is identify resilience role models. Now, the next time the chips are down, ask yourself, what would a favorite professor, a boss, a parent, or action movie hero do? When you have a resilience role model, part of what it does is you begin to see yourself in them because you know their story and the setbacks that they experienced and how they got through, and they're doing so much better now. You're able to see yourself in them. They inspire you to want to be like them. So having a resilience model helps. It really does help when you see yourself in another person's story. Now, the fifth idea that I have for you is stay in touch with things that inspire you. That way, when you stay in touch with things that inspire you, that way you can be reminded of what your possibilities are. During that time when I lost my job, I had books around me, I had CDs, I had audio materials and inspirational messages playing all around me. Of course, I had time in my hands now while I was looking for another job. So I kept in touch with people, places, materials that kept me inspired because they reinforced the fact that I could bounce back from any challenge or setback that had gotten me down. Right? So the sixth idea that I have for you is to adopt a growth mindset. Carol Dweck, the author of the book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, she did a study of resiliency and resiliency in students. And she said there's value in adopting a growth mindset. And the key to doing that is to move from telling ourselves, no, I failed, to not yet, but I will. Not yet, but I will. That language suggests to you that you can actually do it. You can, and you will get there at some point. But you are just not there right now. So that change in language and interpretation helps you kind of make the adjustment in your mind that although things are not happening right now, it's still going to happen. There's still an opportunity. There's still a chance for it to happen. A growth mindset will help you quiet the negative voice in your head that wants you to quit when the going gets tough. That voice, that lizard voice in your head that wants you to quit when the going gets tough. A growth mindset will help you quiet that voice. If we believe we can learn from failure, and have the potential to succeed, we will find the strength to try again. Now, those are the ideas that I have for you today, and I really hope that all that idea helps. Listen, I really want you to get value out of all my videos, and that's why I'm sharing with you these strategies. that helped me in very difficult days. Of course, I got a new job at some point after many days of, applying. I had lots of time in my hands, and not long from then, I got a new job. All right. So I really believe these ideas can help you too, because they helped me. So don't sleep on this. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I really want to know what you think of these ideas. Share your experiences with me and let me know which one of these strategies have worked for you, or even what is not working. It will be a great feedback for me. Now, one more thing. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, I want you to hit the subscribe button right now. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with a friend. When you do these things, the YouTube algorithm blesses me by spreading the word, spreading the message to other individuals like you that need to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you real soon.